Before a roll of tissue can disappear into routine, it has to be made with extraordinary consistency. The products people think about least. Comfort only becomes reliable when it is engineered into dimensions and tolerances.
A great household staple begins when simplicity is translated into precision.
What feels effortless in the home begins as a careful negotiation between fiber, water, mechanics, and responsibility. A tissue product earns softness only if it can keep its structure. The best tissue has to perform in two opposite worlds: dry handling and wet disappearance. Tiny moments of touch in people rarely describe, but always remember.
The goal is not to make paper, it is to protect daily comfort without asking for attention.
Consistency begins when every assumption is written down before the machines ever start.
Every soft sheet starts much farther upstream than the bathroom shelf.
A product built for gentleness often begins in something raw, dense, and strong.
Industrial softness begins with disciplined harvesting, not randomness. A material becomes manufacturable the moment it can be sorted, tracked, and moved. What feels local in the home often moves through a much larger system before it gets there. This is where raw fiber begins the long discipline of becoming usable trust. Large-scale consistency begins with controlled intake. Purity starts long before the paper looks white.
The first transformation is subtraction, removing what the final product cannot carry forward.
Soft tissue begins with making hardwood small enough to be changed completely. Variation tolerated early becomes trouble amplified later.
By now, the forest has become feedstock, but not yet fiber. Paper comfort starts in chemistry long before it feels like anything at all. This is where the material stops being wood and starts becoming possibility.
Transformation matters most when the original material can no longer be mistaken for what it was.
Hygiene in the final roll begins with relentless cleaning in the mill. Soft white tissue only looks simple because the mill works so hard to remove what does not belong.
People read purity at a glance, so the process has to earn that appearance honestly. What later feels like softness is really millions of fibers learning how to arrange themselves.
A tissue mill does not trust appearance alone. It tests what the slurry can become.
Tissue begins as a film so fragile, it can barely hold itself together.
Paper is born by removing the structure.
There's a streak forming on the left side. Adjusting the scanner now. In a fast mill, the best correction is the earliest one.
Heat is not just one invisible fiber bond at a time.
This is the instant strength is the mill. The feel of the final product is controlled by tiny structures most consumers never know exist. A household staple becomes industrial reality when softness can be gathered at scale. Mass production only works when every thin layer respects the one beneath it.
This is where sheet paper begins learning how to live in a home.
Softness in the final roll is a tissue should hold together in use without feeling pressed flat by the process. Embossing is where engineering becomes something the hand can understand instantly.
By now, the product looks familiar, but it still has to become countable, tearable, and convenient.
A useful roll is built around where people need the paper to stop cleanly.
Forms of quality.
This is where sheet become near finished is not yet trustworthy until each unit is made exact as it fits a machine.
What people perceive as quality begins in the edges and layers they may never consciously study.
A trustworthy factory catches small wrongs before they become household annoyances.
Some qualities only reveal themselves when a hand asks the product how it feels.
Scale in the home begins with how many rolls a family wants within reach.
Packaging is where paper begins speaking to the shopper. A staple household product has to communicate clearly as well as perform quietly.
The factory's work is only complete when the product can travel safely and still arrive as promised. Some of the biggest spaces in logistics. Reliability in everyday life depends as much on paperwork as on machinery.
To feel ordinary in a bathroom, the product first has to survive an extraordinary amount of coordination.
Availability is one of the most important promises a basic product can make.
A strong staple works across channels because the need is universal. Everything hidden in production now has to in seconds on a shelf. On the shelf, all that industrial discipline is reduced to first impression. Trust often begins with a squeeze and a glance at the numbers.
People never see the tissue machine. They read the evidence it leaves behind.
A staple becomes trusted when people buy for the future, not just the moment.
The sale is not the end of the product's story. It is where daily accountability begins.
Some of the most trusted products are valued simply because they are there when needed.
When it takes its place within reach.
The simplest pull from the roll carries the memory of the whole factory.
Convenience in daily life is often the final test of manufacturing precision. Its value lies not in attention, but in the dignity of uninterrupted routine.
A good tissue has to feel gentle while doing work no one wants to think about twice.
Trust in a bathroom product extends beyond the moment of use, into the system behind the wall.
The second use is often when a household staple quietly proves itself. The strongest proof of quality is how uneventful a good product makes everyday life.
Durability in tissue is subtle, but people feel it every time the paper behaves properly. A humble product can still carry social meaning when it helps a space feel prepared and cared for.
Staples earn trust when people organize life around their dependable presence.
Everyday responsibility is often taught through small, ordinary objects.
Behind every easy tear and soft roll is a workforce protecting standards most users never see.
A strong staple does not stop learning once it reaches the shelf.
What feels simplest in the home is often the result of many precise systems keeping one promise together. Many hands build one hand can reach without doubt.
Quality matters even more when it can be repeated at scale and kept in stock.
The social value of a basic product is measured by how many lives it quietly helps run smoothly. Its value is not the roll alone, but the uninterrupted routine it protects. A trustworthy roll should behave well.
Often measured in how little friction it adds to repetition.
Repeat purchase is one of the clearest forms of trust. Mature products keep improving by becoming more accountable, not more dramatic.
A trustworthy staple should still look like itself after real life has started using it. When a basic product is made well, it can travel widely without losing its reliability. The most useful products do not ask for attention. They prevent small disruptions from becoming bigger ones.
A good staple ends one day by preparing the next one. Reliability is never a single batch. It is a routine kept every day.
A strong product story is one where the final object still recognizes the first idea.
Every meaningful everyday object is a sequence of solved problems made to feel simple.
Its value is not the paper itself, but the calm, clean continuity it helps protect.
What began as forest, fiber, water, and machinery ends here as quiet readiness in a real home.
Many hands build everyday trust so life can move without pause.
Some of the most important products in society are the ones humble enough to disappear into routine.
A good roll keeps answering the same question with every pull. Can I trust you again?
From fiber to sheet, from shelf to holder, toilet paper becomes valuable only when it makes everyday hygiene feel simple, reliable, and human.
For this episode. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. We hope this gave you a deeper look at how real quality is made and quality and why trust matters.